Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Heather and this is Create Your Own Cozy. If you guys are new here, I have talked about my friend Jenny a couple of times. She is a friend that I met at a thrift store a while back. We are very similar in ages, but we are not similar in stages. She is getting ready to be an empty nester, and she is in the mode of decluttering and getting ready to donate a good portion of her home. I should be in that mode, but my youngest is 8. I am not in that mode at this moment. So she has been donating so many items to me. She wants nothing in return. She'd just rather give them to me than the thrift store. So the other morning we met at outside of my antique store and she goes, "I'm really sorry, but most of the stuff is Christmas." And I'm like, perfect. I can just tag it and put it straight into my booth. So I didn't have time to do a haul because I wanted to get it straight into my booth. But on Monday's video, I promise I'm going to give you a tour of my existing booth and my brand new booth, as well as tell you how last month and the month of October went. But I am going to do a couple of items that I got from Jenny on today's video and upcycle some stuff to resell for the month of November in my booths for Christmas decor. If you want to see what I do, stick around. Let's start with the pretty simple project. I got this old pot from the thrift store. I paid $5 for it, which was a little bit much, but it was already rusty and crusty and it had nothing else on it. So I decided that I wanted to use one of the Christmas transfers from this book that I'm still working on from IOD. Thought it would be a really cute little pot to put a fake Christmas tree in, one of the ones that I got from Hobby Lobby. So basically I scrub this really well and center the transfer on here, then use the tool that comes with the transfer book and just really easily rub it on until it pulls away from the plastic topper. And once that happens, you can kind of tell how the transfer works. Just keep rubbing and pulling back and make sure that you burnish it at the end with the opposite side of the transfer sheet. And this one was a pretty simple upcycle, and it's something different that you can buy from a Hobby Lobby or a store like that. What do you guys think of this one? For this next project, I got inspired by this little felt tree that I got at the thrift store for 79 cents. It was in a little bit of rough shape, needed some felt leaves kind of glued back on, but I just thought it was so precious. Somebody mentioned before that a lot of YouTubers don't mention the problems that they have with hot glue. And quite honestly, since I have switched to high temperature hot glue, I have not had problems with the hot glue failing. When I used to use like the cheaper low temp hot glue, yes, that would fail often. But since I've used the high temperature hot glue, I have not noticed it. So I'm just going around and reinforcing the stuff that's not really working, kind of bending the leaves over. And then I went to the basement, and guys, like, I don't need to go to the thrift store anymore. got this metal thing out of my little hoard in the basement, and thought, I don't really like that fake rust color, but I like the shape of it, and this would look really nice in here. So I decided to use DIY's Little Black Dress, and I only needed one coat. It's a very highly pigmented paint, and the black never disappoints. Got some hair in the brush, and now it's all over the place. But the great part is, if it hasn't been sealed, it is easily cleaned up by water, so my table is just fine. I did one coat of this DIY paint, used a wet rag to wet distress it, and then after that was the case, decided to go over it with DIY's Big Top just to seal it all in, and I was really happy with how, with just a little bit of paint, I can bring out the shape of this cool metal container. I like this so much, and then my friend Jenny, I was in the middle of this project, my friend Jenny met me and gave me another felt tree. So I did go to the basement and get a second vase to upcycle, and so I included it in this project. I hope you guys are inspired to look at some of the stuff you have around your house that you don't really love the color of anymore, and see if there's another way to use it in your home, or even upcycle it to resell. The best part is when the things are free. Am I right? Listen, I know if you watch any other creators on YouTube, you've seen a number of bottle brush tree projects. So I decided to do my own because I've never done one. I got the 3 white trees from Hobby Lobby. The other trees I just thrifted throughout the year for around $1. Just taking these old portions of a spindle and pre-drilling a hole. I end up going back with a larger drill bit to fit the metal, but pre-drilling the hole to just stick a bottle brush tree that I got from Hobby Lobby. I'm just cutting it off with the wire cutter and sticking it right in the wood pieces right here for a fun vintage looking decor. After that, I was looking in my stash for some more fun bases for 3 other bottle brush trees, and I found this piece of glass that I had thrifted, but there was not a good way. Hot glue and glass do not go together. So I did get the E6000 out and a wine cork and pushed it down in the bottom of this. I think it was a candle holder. I feel like some more things like attached to it, but I just really love the color and the shape of it. And the great part about wine corks is they're meant to be screwed into, so that was pretty easy. And then just had something to hot glue the bottle brush tree to, let it sit so the E6000 would cure. I found this other piece. It actually had broken, so I'm going to turn it into 2 different bases. Cut this wine cork in half with a very sharp knife. For this one, I did let this dry overnight since there was nothing around the wine cork. This one's a pretty simple one too. Obviously, I was in a metal theme mood. This was for my stash, and I saw that there was like a little snowflake on the bottom. But if you can look, I liked that it was metal, but the metal was all discolored. So decided to just do around 2.5 coats of DIY paint in the color B-board. With whites, you can't get away with doing less than 2 to 3 coats, just with any whites that I found. But I went ahead and did those coats. I wet distressed this one really well because I wanted to show all the fun little detail of this metal canister. Went over it with Big Top, pretty simple, but really love how it turned out. So I've done a lot of metal on this one, so let's keep going. I found this, it's a pretty light tin tray, but the good thing is it had a good size to it. So I thought, you know what, I want to use some more transfers from the Christmas Valley transfer book. I did use the beadboard color. I believe I only did 2 coats on this one because it was a pretty light background underneath, and then I did wet distress. And of course, since this is a clay-based paint, you cannot put transfers directly over the paint because it would be putting a sticker on a chalkboard that you just erased. It'd be covered like in a dust feel. So you do need to make sure you put your top coat on before putting any transfers on, and make sure it's thoroughly dry. That way you're not as worried about anything peeling up. So I went through a couple of options from the transfer book, and I'm happy with what I finally decided. But you know, you have a vision for something, and then you're like, well, I could just keep adding more. But in the end, I decided the simpler the better, just because this is going to be a functional piece and I want people to be able to use it and still be able to see the transfer. And then I did absolutely, after the transfer was on there, I did go over that with 2 coats of Big Top. This is going to be something that is used, and I wanted to make sure the transfer got protected from being nicked when people put something inside of it. So guys, what did you think? I know I messed with metal a lot today, but I'm trying to go to the basement, get some stuff from before, and then use some of the stuff that I got from my little donation fairy. Perfect time of year. Thank you, Jenny, for your donation and for wanting to see me succeed. I really appreciate it. Guys, if you enjoyed today's content, I would love it if you would give this video a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments below what your favorite project was, or if there's one that you got inspired to make. And if you're not already, please consider subscribing to my channel. It just helps YouTube know that you're enjoying this content. And if you like it, maybe someone else will, and maybe they will share my channel with other people. And you know what? If you have some friends that would enjoy this content, I would love it if you'd share that with them as well. Guys, thank you so much for coming along with me this week. I hope you have an amazing weekend, and we'll see you guys on Monday for an update on booth sales. Bye, guys.